911, what is the address to your emergency?
Leo, there, ain't nothing. Everything's gone.
On October 4th, 2006, Ontario police received a frantic call from a 33-year-old mother. She woke up and found her two daughters lying dead on the bed, dressed in their best jewelry. This shocking discovery set off an urgent investigation.
Where do you think your children are now?
I assume my husband has.
Who was this poor woman? Did her husband murder their children? What actually happened? Hello and welcome back. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. In today's episode, we're diving into a dark and tragic case that sent shockwaves through Canada. Viewer discretion is advised, as today's episode involves child abuse, mental illness, and murder. Without further ado, let's get started. Elaine Frances Campion was born and raised in Gaspereau Forks, New Brunswick, Canada. Not much is publicly known about her early life, but her family, particularly her mother, Faye Goodine, described her as sweet and quiet, often reading and watching TV alone. In 2000, Elaine met Leo Campion in Ontario, and their relationship seemed promising at first. In August 2002, the couple married and moved to a small house in Ontario. They soon had two daughters, Serene, born in 2003, and Sophia, born in 2005. However, their happy family quickly deteriorated into chaos and conflict. To the neighbors, Leo appeared to be a social, kind, and approachable man. But behind closed doors, he was a violent monster. The physical and emotional abuse began during her first pregnancy with Serene and continued throughout their marriage. Leo had kicked her in the stomach during both pregnancies. Elaine's mother confirmed that her daughter would often call, crying and terrified of Leo's violent outbursts and controlling behavior. But these were just the tip of the iceberg. Elaine wasn't his only victim. Leo even slapped their eldest daughter, Serene, so hard that her upper lip was bleeding. Between April 2004 and August 2005, Leo was charged with 4 counts of assault, a death threat, and 1 count of bodily harm. Despite the severity of his actions, Leo managed to secure his release on bail, posting a $10,000 bond. Once free, Leo's control over Elaine tightened even further. Life for her became a living nightmare. He forbade her from speaking to her own mother, isolating her from any support system she might have had. One night in June 2005, after years of suffering, Elaine reached her breaking point. She grabbed her 2 daughters and fled to a women's shelter. When she arrived, her body was covered in bruises so severe that the nurses noticed them instantly. Hospital reports later documented the extent of her injuries. Deep bruises spread across her arms, legs, and torso, along with a swollen eye. Following this incident, Elaine filed for divorce and sought full custody of her daughters, Serene and Sophia. To escape her abusive husband, she also requested permission to move back to her parents' home in New Brunswick, far from the nightmare of Ontario. However, the court had other plans. Despite clear evidence of abuse, Elaine was not allowed to leave Ontario. The reason? Leo was granted supervised visitation rights, and moving to New Brunswick would make these visits impossible. Elaine's desperate plea to start fresh and build a new life for her daughters was denied. While Elaine's dreams of returning home were crushed, Leo moved in with his parents in Woodbridge, just a half-hour away from where Elaine now lived. Trapped in Ontario, she focused all her energy on her daughters, Serene and Sophia, dedicating herself completely to their care and well-being. For years, Elaine struggled with a range of mental health issues, including severe anxiety, obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and depression. Her mental state had been worsening due to the abusive relationship, the stress of single motherhood, and a bitter custody battle. After filing for divorce, Elaine's mother, Faye Goodine, moved in with her to offer support. Goodine reported that many of Elaine's fears were irrational, driven by delusions. She believed Leo was using his financial resources and influence to manipulate the legal system and take her daughters away. Elaine avoided making left-hand turns while driving, convinced it would bring her bad luck. She refused to park near black cars, seeing them as bad omens, and forbade her daughters from touching anything red, which she believed symbolized blood and would bring them harm. Perhaps most troubling, Elaine began claiming to see aliens. Shortly after that, Elaine unexpectedly showed up at her in-laws' home with Serene and Sophia. Her father-in-law, Diego Campione, later recalled that Elaine was clueless. The baby girls appeared neglected. One had a severe diaper rash, and both seemed malnourished. Diego immediately encouraged Elaine to seek professional help. So Elaine admitted herself to the psychiatric ward at Royal Victoria Hospital, where the depth of her struggles was revealed.
Yes, this is a deplorable, horrible, messy, filthy apartment that supposedly my 2 children and I live in, and it's just a horrible, horrible mess. Yeah. I think Diego Campione is totally in the wrong, and I hope he burns in hell for all his sins. The same as Leonardo. All I wanted to do was take care of my 2 little girls and live happily ever after the 3 years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse that I endured tremendously by Leonardo Campione, and in the past year from Anna and Diego Campione, the mental and emotional abuse, which wouldn't stop, and I had CAS keep bringing these 2 people into my life over and over again when I kept telling them the amount of mental and emotional abuse it was causing my 3-year-old daughter Serena and I and Sophia. It was horrible and uncalled for, and I want justice to my family for what they have all done to us.
One day, she confided in a nurse that she had self-harm thoughts. Elaine stayed in the hospital for about 2 weeks. During this time, her daughters were cared for by their grandparents. After being discharged, Elaine moved into a new apartment at the Coulter Glen Apartments in Barrie, Ontario, trying to rebuild her life. At the same time, Leo attended anger management and addiction counseling. His efforts to rehabilitate himself were noted by the executive director overseeing his treatment. He had abstained from alcohol and appeared to be improving. In recent visits, Leo broke down in tears while spending time with his daughters. The girls seemed happy to see their father, offering a glimpse of hope amidst the turmoil. Despite these improvements in Leo's behavior, Elaine resented her husband's visits. She was convinced that he had ill intentions and never allowed Serene and Sophia to speak about their father. By early summer 2006, Elaine's mental health had worsened to the point where she could no longer properly care for her daughters. For the second time, she left Serene and Sophia in the care of their grandparents and sought additional psychiatric treatment. After weeks of therapy, doctors discharged Elaine, declaring her mentally sound, and she was reunited with her children. Around this time, the Children's Aid allowed Leo to meet Serene and Sophia without supervision. For Elaine, this news was devastating. The thought of losing her daughters only intensified her paranoia.
I cried out for help. They should have charged him for the assaults he did to me, the assaults he did to my oldest daughter Serena, and they did nothing for us. Instead, they gave him more and more rights. It's just unfair and cruel. And so many women go through this, and it's not fair. We should have been allowed to leave and go home and heal with my family, who, by the way, were foster parents, who have CS clearance, unlike his family, who are immigrants who lie and steal and do everything horrible and associate with very bad criminal people. My family doesn't. My family are all upstanding citizens. But yet, he and his family get all the rights. And my poor 3-year-old, I did everything to protect.
Elaine's mother decided to stay with her through this challenging period. However, her paranoia only deepened. Elaine began suspecting her own mother of conspiring with Leo against her, helping him to take her daughters away. Thankfully, after a while, Elaine was doing better. Neighbors noticed that she seemed more stable and involved with her children. She was often seen at the playground with Serene and Sophia, sitting on a bench as they played together. One neighbor was so impressed with Elaine's apparent progress that they wrote a letter to Children's Aid, praising her for how well she had been managing since her return from psychiatric care. A couple of months later, Elaine and her daughters participated in Take Back the Night, a community march aimed at supporting victims of domestic violence and empowering women to share their stories. More impressively, Elaine was awarded a Consider the Children certificate, recognizing her parenting skills. On October 2nd, 2006, just one day before the critical custody hearing, Elaine's fear of losing her daughters kicked in. To solve this, she took a handful of clonazepam, a medication prescribed to manage panic attacks and aid sleep. She climbed into bed with her daughters, hoping that sleep would calm negative thoughts. But fate had other plans. Elaine woke up on October 4th, 2006, and realized her daughters had passed away. She frantically dialed 911.
911, what is the address to your emergency?
Leo, there, everything is gone.
Upon arrival, the police found a scene that was both peaceful and horrifying. In the bedroom, 3-year-old Serene and 19-month-old Sophia were lying in bed, dressed in their nightgowns and adorned with jewelry. They were holding hands. Between them were rosary beads and a photo album. The girls appeared to be asleep, but when officers checked closer, they realized the heartbreaking truth. Their skin was cold, their lips turned purple-blue, suggesting they had been dead for hours. A bath mat, which had fallen from the bed, left a noticeable mark on Sophia's forehead. A foul odor lingered in the air. Elaine immediately pointed finger at her husband, Leo. She claimed he wanted to take her daughters away from her forever. So this was how he took revenge. When police began their search, they quickly found a video camera. The footage, captured both before and after the tragic deaths of Elaine's daughters, held the most shocking, chilling clues to the entire case. As investigators reviewed the footage, they made a gut-wrenching discovery. One of the videos showed Serene, the eldest daughter, still alive and unaware of what was to come.
Hi, Serena. It's August 8th, 2006. Serena's 3 today. Yay! What do you think, Sophia? You sing happy birthday? No?
I'm 3!
You're 3 today. Yay! Shall we go to the living room and see if you got any birthday presents from the birthday fairies?
Yes!
Okay, let's go. How does Mama love you?
This much.
Oh, I love you more than that. How much does Mama love you? There's Sophia.
The recordings didn't stop there. Elaine had also filmed herself after the deaths, addressing Leo in a series of emotionally charged rants. In these videos, she cursed him and his family for torturing and driving her to the edge. The final moments of the chilling footage cut out at 8:39 p.m. on October 1st, 2006. Just under an hour later, at 9:27 p.m., Elaine Campione returns to the camera, but this time she is alone. Sitting on the couch, she stares directly into the lens, delivering a haunting confession that would send shivers down the spine of anyone watching.
You're a hideous monster. The things you used to do to me. I still have horrific nightmares all the time because of you. You're an evil, horrible man. I begged the courts to let me go home where I could be protected by my family. I went through lawyers fighting. This last lawyer, even with all the papers I showed, telling her, look, he's lying. There's nothing wrong with me mentally. There isn't. I'm scared of you. I'm scared of everything, of your family. Everything you've told me over the years is the truth. And I'm just going to God, because God is the only one who cares and who can protect me.
In this unsettling video, Elaine calmly explains why she killed her daughters. She makes it clear that the act was meant to ensure Leo, her ex-husband, would forever be haunted by the pain he had caused.
At least the girls and I will be together in heaven, protected and safe from you. And you can't hurt us, you can't torture us, you can't bother me anymore. You can't sit there and control me. You have me locked into a county where I have no friends, no family. You got it so I couldn't even go see my own parents, where I need to be with my family, the people who truly love me and have always been there for me. Take my children to be in a nurturing place. everything that CS told me to do, and I begged and begged and begged everyone to help me get out of this province away from you because you and your family are psychotic.
The explanation drags on, long-winded and rambling, as Elaine continues to justify her horrific actions to the camera. She speaks of the pain and suffering caused by her ex-husband, Leo, and why she believed taking her daughters' lives was the only way to protect them. Her voice is filled with bitterness and conviction until the footage cuts off once again. When the camera comes back, Elaine is still on the couch, but her demeanor has shifted. Now considerably more subdued, she mumbles about how she had tried to end her own life by overdosing on pills, but it hadn't worked.
I tried to overdose.
So that means remodeling time at the Aurelia and Greenbridge stores. They're changing the displays. Now is the time to make a great deal on an Ontario-made hydro-cooled hot tub. In-stock models, floor model, or custom orders, everything has a sale price.
This footage became the critical piece of evidence, not only confirming the timeline of events, but also providing a harrowing insight into Elaine's state of mind. Her mother, Godine, revealed that Elaine had been overwhelmed during both of her pregnancies. Even after Serene and Sophia were born, Elaine seemed emotionally detached from them, struggling to connect as a mother. Instead, she maintained contact with people in Ontario, especially those connected to Leo's workplace. According to Godine, Elaine would often speak highly of Leo despite the violence she suffered. She was torn between her obsession for Leo and fear of losing her daughters to a monster. With all the information, police made a horrifying conclusion. Elaine had become a paranoid and dangerous individual, absolutely capable of the unthinkable. So what exactly had happened? In the week leading up to the custody hearing, neighbors observed Elaine's strange behavior. She began giving away her belongings, kitchenware, baby clothes, like she was preparing to leave behind her current life. As she chatted with neighbors, Elaine confided in them about her growing fear of the custody battle. She was terrified that Leo would win, and that thought was more than she could bear. So she came up with a plan. The night of October 4th, 2006 seemed normal for Elaine's family.
Serena was playing in the living room, coloring, doing sign language. Sophia was having a bath. We were videotaping.
You can also check them out on the web at poolspasaunaShowroom.com. I'm here to throw some light on conserving energy. First, let's coordinate. These are seasonal LED lights.
But then, something happened to Sophia when she was having a bath.
Sophia was getting all undressed, ready to get in the tub. And then asked her if she wanted to take pictures for a Grammy, and she said yeah. She wanted to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So then she went to lay backwards, and water got inside of her ear, and she started to panic. So I stopped and held her and picked her up.
According to Elaine, she paused the camera when water got into Sophia's ear, causing the toddler to panic. After calming her down, Elaine went to get Serena and placed both girls in the tub together.
And then we do front floats where she sticks her mouth in the water and blows bubbles.
Elaine suggested they play an underwater game, telling them to lie face down and blow bubbles. Once they were submerged, Elaine held them under the water until they stopped breathing. The innocent game became deadly within seconds. Then, she made the second videotape, unleashing on her ex-husband, Leo, and justifying her actions. She combed her daughter's hair, dressed them up, and prepared for her final act, overdosing on medication. But it didn't work. 2 days later, on October 4th, 2006, Elaine woke up, horrified by what she had done. She recorded the third videotape and dialed 911. In an emotionless tone, she said, "My children are dead. They are dead in my bed. I took a bunch of pills, and when I woke up, my daughters were dead." With the confession videotapes in hand, the police arrested Elaine Campione without delay, taking her in for interrogation. To the investigators' surprise, Elaine remained eerily calm, even as being questioned about her own daughter's deaths. She firmly denied any involvement and claimed that she couldn't recall making the 911 call.
Where do you think your children are now?
I assume my husband has them.
We understand you've been charged with murder. You understand that both the children, Sophia and Serena, are both deceased?
Elaine initially claimed that her estranged husband, Leo, had taken her daughters. If this were true, she should have been in shock upon learning that Serene and Sophia were dead. Yet, instead of the stunned reaction, Elaine seemed like she already knew their fate. She insisted she couldn't remember anything, only that she had put her daughters to bed, and when she woke up, she was handcuffed. When questioned about the events of that night, she offered several conflicting versions in a soft voice. However, when asked directly if she had pushed her daughters underwater, Elaine immediately denied.
At any point during that, did you push her under the water?
No,
You sure, Elaine?
I'm sure. These are my babies.
Though she continued to deny any violent actions toward Serene and Sophia, Elaine admitted that she had observed several unusual things about her daughters that evening. She said that Sophia's lips had a weird color, and she noticed both girls seemed still and unresponsive.
Usually she'll do better if Serena's in the tub, and Serena will do it, and Sophia will copy her.
Mm-hmm. So we're both in the tub together?
No, Serena was in her own tub.
In her own tub?
She went in her own tub after,
Okay.
waiting for Sophia to get out of her tub. And she was running all around, so I was chasing Serena to get her to come back to go in the tub, and she was picking out all these different pajamas she wanted.
Serena was?
Yes.
Okay. So after Sophia finishes her bath, what do you do with Sophia?
Sophia usually sits in the bathroom, waits.
Sits in the bathroom and waits?
Yes.
Well, what did she do?
She just lays, she usually just lays there and drinks her bobo. She has a bobo while Serena's in the tub. Sometimes she tries to crawl in the tub with her again. Or she has a pee in the potty.
What'd she do on this evening?
She just laid there and she had her bobo, but she didn't even drink her bobo. I had took a bunch of pills. I was getting really, really tired. And I opened the blanket and her feet were like a pinkish, odd, it wasn't her normal foot coloring. And then I checked Serena. Serena's feet looked normal, but up on her leg here was a purpley color.
Elaine might not have remembered every detail of that dreadful night. After all, she had been under the influence of powerful pills, a fact she openly admitted. Her entire demeanor throughout the interrogation was riddled with signs of severe mental instability. It was as if her mind had erased the horrific truth. At this point, Elaine was desperately trying to convince the investigators that she had no recollection of what truly happened. But then, just when sympathy for her began to creep in, her next statement shattered everything. Elaine whispered, "Maybe it was already meant to be. I had no choice." She knew all the time. Investigators had her right there.
That I wanted to make sure is that they did die peacefully? Peacefully? Okay. Did you kill both of them?
I cannot speak without an attorney present.
Instead of grieving or providing any details about her daughter's deaths, Elaine's first instinct was to demand an attorney. The request sent shockwaves through the room. Why was she so quick to seek legal protection?
I've been told that I'll answer no to everything by my duty counsel.
Okay. You've spoken to duty counsel?
Yes, and he has told me to speak other than no.
Okay. All right.
After her interrogation concluded and the autopsy reports were reviewed, the chilling truth began to unfold. Both girls had drowned, their lifeless bodies discovered submerged in the bathtub. Bruises marked their small foreheads, perfectly matching the bath mat at the bottom of the tub, and water was found in their lungs. With every piece of evidence meticulously gathered, the horrifying reality became undeniable. Their own mother was responsible. Elaine's trial commenced in September 2010, with 2 counts of first-degree murder hanging over her. Yet, in the Crown's court, she pleaded not guilty. Her defense was a shocking twist. She wasn't criminally responsible due to severe mental health struggles. They painted a picture of her troubled past, a life filled with trauma and instability. Yet they never denied that she drowned her children. On the other side, Leo's attorney fiercely argued that Elaine's actions were deliberate, an attempt to prevent her estranged husband from gaining custody. To counter this, the prosecution brought in 2 psychologists. They testified that while Elaine may have been battling mental health issues, she was fully capable of understanding the difference between right and wrong. With every testimony and each shred of evidence, the case grew darker, leaving a haunting question in the courtroom. Was this the tragic act of a broken woman, or the cold-blooded decision of a mother bent on control? The jury reached a damning conclusion. Despite Elaine's mental health struggles, she knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew it was both morally and legally wrong. On November 17, 2010, the verdict came down like a hammer. Elaine was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life in prison, with no possibility of parole for 25 years. The motive behind her heinous crime was as chilling as the act itself: revenge. Elaine believed she was saving her daughters by taking their lives, preventing them from going to their father. In her twisted mind, this was an act of protection, but to the world it was nothing short of calculated murder. Elaine, unwilling to accept her fate, appealed the 2010 conviction, arguing that the jury had failed to properly assess whether she was truly criminally responsible. But even this final attempt at redemption was crushed. In 2015, her appeal was dismissed, sealing her fate and ensuring that justice for her daughters remained intact. However, in September 2019, the Parole Board of Canada granted Elaine 3 escorted leaves from custody. The first was to participate in an 8-week healthy relationships program. The second allowed her to attend Sunday Mass once a month, including Christmas and Easter, as well as a Celebrate Recovery program. The third leave was for a 2-day divine conference scheduled for the summer of 2020. None of these leaves took place in the Barrie area, and these privileges reflect her new status as a minimum security offender. Leonardo Campione continues to grieve for his 2 daughters, Serena and Sophia. Although he remained silent during Elaine's trial, choosing not to attend, he publicly expressed his heartache. "Serena and Sophia were my life, and they still are. I found my place in life, and my peace was with them. Above all else, nothing brought me peace like their loving embrace." Leo continues to blame it on child welfare authorities, convinced that if he had been granted the chance to live with his daughters, he could have saved them. But no amount of regret can ever justify the loss of 2 innocent lives. May their innocent souls rest in peace. What do you think about this heartbreaking case? Who truly bears the blame? Was it Leo, who relentlessly pushed his wife to the edge, testing her fragile mental state at every turn? Or was it Elaine, who sacrificed her children just to hurt her husband? We want to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. And if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, don't wait to seek help. A simple act of kindness or understanding can make all the difference. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.